Privacy is live now, across every network. But private means different things underneath the surface. Who can read the data? Who gets plain text access? Who keeps it encrypted all the way through the process? Two networks say the same thing, printed on the same box. One lets an operator look, one keeps the whole path locked. It's not cosmetic, it's not just the claim, it's the cryptography that writes the name. Who can actually read it, who can't touch the line? That's the question every single time. Privacy is the standard, the approach is the difference. Privacy is the standard, show me what your system does. Keep it private, keep it live, not a promise on a slide. Privacy is the standard, the approach is the difference. COTI uses garbled circuits, contracts on encrypted data. Nobody can see inside on any device. Standard solidity. COTI GC, privacy is live, not theoretical. Built for real production, built for something measurable. The COTI token powers private moves across chains, protocols and programmable privacy solutions in the frame. Institutional money won't move blind in the light. Traders need their strategies out of everyone's sight. So the answer isn't if, it's how you deliver and what you give up when you cross that river. Privacy is the standard, the approach is the difference. Privacy is the standard, show me what your system does. Keep it private, keep it live, not a promise on a slide. Privacy is the standard, the approach is the difference. 4 ways to make it private, same word, different math. Who sees the truth? Who walks the path? Permission views encrypted end-to-end, disclosure by design, or trust in the end. Privacy is the standard, the approach is the difference. Privacy is the standard, show me what your system does. Keep it private, keep it live, not a promise on a slide. Privacy is the standard, the approach is the difference. Difference.
What's up, guys, and welcome to COTI Confidential. How's it going, Soren?
Hey, Treasury, and welcome to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Yeah, it's going fine, mate. It's going fine. Just a little heads up if I start sneezing on air. I got a little bit of an allergy attack, trying to manage it, but if I do, that's right. I'll try and have the microphone off when it goes off. How you doing, mate?
Good. So how is life beyond Treasury for you, Soren? How has it been? What's been on your mind?
It's been interesting to see. Obviously, there's a couple of people in the community who's come up with some alternative solutions. I see the good people from the Pengo universe have increased the COTI staking number by about 3 million. So a lot of people gone in there. And whoever can use KuCoin, or some people are using that, and some people are just saying, okay, well, I'm not going to stake anymore. I'm in the last group. I just keep it in my wallets, and now I don't stake it anymore. It's all good.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't have a plan for staking either. I can't use KuCoin, so I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, I'm going to sit on it for now and figure it out.
Yeah, I have noticed.
I've been too busy to think about this stuff, man.
Yeah, I know. It's been a busy time, generally speaking, not just with COTI, but in life in general. So, but I've noticed one thing: somebody keeps buying absolutely obscene amounts of G-COTI. Has the price recovered to pre-crash, pre-annihilation event levels, or are we back to where it used to be, or what?
No, but I mean, it's came up like I think it's 3 or 4x above the crash from what I remember. I think I haven't looked at it for a while, but that has been interesting, right? Like, have been watching that. It's curious.
It wasn't just
I
one
don't
or because it wasn't just one or two isolated buys. There's probably been about 50 purchases of G-COTI. So yeah, for those who don't know, there's a Telegram group that flags G-COTI purchases. So we can follow most of them.
And that's only, I believe that's only ERC20, like Ethereum ERC20 G-COTI purchases, right? So
Right. Okay. Yeah,
but
it's
still,
interesting. Nevertheless, that was something I didn't expect. And also, we can see on the charts, if we just stick a little bit with the token stuff, a lot of short squeezing going on right now. Had a consistently negative funding rate for some time now. And I read somewhere yesterday that shorters are currently paying about 38% per year for their shorts. So that's quite interesting, and obviously it's now clear why the charts are a little bit erratic in the way they are. With somebody's been squeezed, but you got to take it to the shorters. They're fighting back quite valiantly. They're still there, clearly.
Hey, traders are gonna trade, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you can make money both ways, both sides, all the power to you. Honestly,
Yeah,
that's the game. I mean, we make fun of the saying "in it for the tech," but I mean, everybody's in it for the financial benefit, right? So hey,
absolutely. And if you're a half decent trader, there's a way to trade these charts, obviously. So yeah, all power to them. My main takeaway from everything that's going on in the charts is that every time we pump and retrace, we somehow end up a slightly higher level than we were before. Yeah, it's not a lot, but we're now sitting at we're now sitting around that 1.2 cent level, which is far better than the 0.07 cent that 0.7 cent that we were before.
I mean, whenever you can justify a higher high, even if it's tiny, I think after the last little bit, we'll take it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And and there's still so much good stuff coming. So, but it'll be interesting to see where this short squeeze route's gonna take us. I think we're gonna have to see a squeeze that's a lot higher than 1.5 cent or 2 cents in order to sort of get the better of the shorters. But we'll see where we end up.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're, if you're in a token that you know really well, that's typically range bound, and if you feel comfortable trading that range, I mean, all the power to you, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, mate.
I have to watch it to do that. You know what I mean? And I don't have that's more of like a winter thing for me.
Yeah.
To lock in and watch the chart. And maybe, when we find some really good trading agents again, because I miss V1 of Privex, because that was just a great ride.
That was good. That was good fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, well, we made you and I made some decent money on that, to be fair. I'm not afraid to say that. And I'm not afraid to say either that the subsequent agents made it a lot harder for us.
You got to cash it out to make the money, but so I didn't really do that, but the potential was there.
Definitely.
It's like that's the story of my life, kind of, right? All right, do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's kick that one off. Yeah, so it's been what, a few weeks coming on a month since the big Treasury announcements, and happily, we, the community, the project, everything's still standing. That's good. The debate in the community has been very, very active, and I think some of the main concerns, particularly around the infamous 58%, has been addressed by the team in a reasonably timely manner. So I have no doubt that there'll be more discussions on this going forward, and that's a good thing. We have a good community, amazing actually, and when we have this kind of discourse, sort of brings everyone together, even if it's bringing everyone together about complaining of something instead of celebrating something, still a sign of good health. But I think for me anyways, this is a personal thing. If you want to keep moaning about the Treasury thing, you can, of course. For me, I'm starting to look forward to what we expect to happen in September. And I'm, of course, talking about the not so secret privacy on demand currently being done on the Avalanche Fuji testnet. And I should point out here as a little caveat that the only official communication is that Amateo will speak and conduct a demo at the Avalanche Summit in September in New York. Therefore, strictly speaking, everything else is speculation, because until we have something official, it's not official, obviously. That said, it's been really amazing to see the community getting to work on understanding what it is COTI is building for Avalanche. And the background for this, I didn't mention in the brief, but the background is obviously that most of this is on GitHub, and people who know how to read and see and go through the files can make some very informed judgments about what's being built. And what it may mean for COTI network. So I'm going to cover one particular aspect in this brief. But before I do that, just let's have a look. Let's have a look at why Avalanche is such an amazing choice for privacy on demand. For the first, strictly speaking, the first deployment, assuming that Ethereum will come after, not before. So COTI has made it crystal clear that they're gunning for institutions and enterprises. They want a piece of that pie, and they think, and I think they're right in thinking that they think that this is where the main chunk of value and revenue will be generated for the network. And Avalanche, obviously now since we found out about all this, we've all to some extent been following a little bit about what Avalanche is doing. And one of the things that's quite clear is that they're seeing a significant increase in institutional traction this year. And it's mainly through tokenized RWA, regulated financial products, custom chains, payment rails, and a whole lot more. Yeah, the Biddle Fund by BlackRock's grown to approximately $900 million on Avalanche dollars. Japan's largest security token platform, Progmat, completed a migration of more than 1.2 billion in RWA to a dedicated Avalanche L1. So they do tailor-made L1s on the Avalanche network. It's something I didn't cover because it's a little bit more complicated and would have made everything boring. But there's much more to Avalanche than meets the eye. Honestly, the more I read about it and the more I understand it, the better it gets. You got the Avalanche Payments Collective that includes 28 organizations such as Franklin Templeton, Nexus, Vanek, Wisdom Tree, Axiom, and others. I mean, Axiom alone has processed more than $1.6 billion in payments. And there's a whole lot more. Yeah, what was widely described in the last couple of weeks is that ETFs, AVAX ETFs, are seeing a lot of inflows. So it's quite clear to me that Avalanche is on the most favored lists for banks and institutions, and COTI has to be there. And the most favored list is Ethereum, or appears to be Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Ripple, and maybe one or two others. Base could be one. Arbitrum could be one. But so it's a limited list, and that makes the target list for COTI quite straightforward, because if that's what it ends up being, that's where we need to be. So, as I said, I want to cover a little bit an interesting aspect about what this could mean for COTI. So COTI Unity, we're going to get into this a little bit later in the show. COTI Unity has done an amazing job in explaining the mechanics of privacy on demand. But Michael took a slightly different approach, looking and speculating on transactions versus events. And this is an incredibly interesting concept, and one that, to be honest, until I read his post, I hadn't thought of that at all in those kinds of terms. And the short version of it is that each transaction could plausibly generate multiple confidential compute events. So you got KYC checks, limit checks, interest accrual, approvals, settlement matching, audits, and a whole bunch of things that, because these are complex financial instruments, there's a whole bunch of things, there's a whole bunch of events included in every transaction. And it could be a number as high as 50 or 100, or it could be a number as low as 5 or 10. Depends a little bit on the complexity and who's doing what. And the math is quite interesting on this. So, and this is important here to understand as well, that sort of, it's in the name, but just make sure everyone understands that when we launch privacy on demand on Avalanche, it doesn't shove garbled circuits down the throats of everyone on Avalanche. Yeah, it's optional. Yeah, it's there for people who need it. So it's privacy on demand. You can reach out and use it when you need it. So let's assume that there is an uptake, generally speaking, on Avalanche of about 30%. Yeah. Avalanche has, on a quiet day, 2.5 million transactions per day. So 30% of those transactions would require confidential compute. Of those 30%, 30% would then choose privacy on demand. So that's a 30% uptake. So that's approximately, on a quiet day, 225,000 privacy on demand enabled transactions per day. And I pick a low number for this. So let's say an average of 10 confidential compute events per transaction. That's 2.2 million transactions on the COTI network per day. Yeah. And these are low numbers, and they're still wildly speculative. Yeah. Because none of us really, it's crystal ball stuff. Yeah. So I'm just playing around with the numbers. So I don't want to put any ideas in people's heads, but that's what it could look like. So let's say 2.2 million transactions per day. Now just think for a second about how that would affect COTI revenue, token burns, that whole flywheel. Yeah. Because obviously we're going to be charging for all of this, and what we charge per transaction, by the way, is going to be quite impactful for how many people on Avalanche are going to use it, because they do have other choices on Avalanche. Some of them are not as fast or as light and as fancy as garbled circuits, but it doesn't mean that they don't have other choices. So it's quite staggering numbers, but of course, as I just said, it's also complete speculation. That's the exciting part for me, because it shows, without a shadow of a doubt, it shows you exactly what's at stake for COTI networking, making sure this is a success. Yeah, because 2.2 million transactions on Avalanche, that could easily turn into 10 million transactions per Avalanche, and then you start adding all the other networks where privacy on demand are hopefully going to launch. So it starts to get interesting quite quickly. So the next weeks and months are going to be very, very exciting, and of course I'm super excited to see how it all plays out. And this was, yeah, you just had the graphic up there. This was Michael explaining exactly what this means. Yeah. So and it's a very, very nice way to look at. It's a very interesting way to look at all this.
Yeah,
So
he's had over the years, he's had a lot of bangers, right?
Oh
That
yeah. He puts them out regularly, and we're trying to get him on the show, but he sort of pops up, puts out a banger, and then disappears again for a little while.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna go to Unity's account now. If you just give me a minute to get there. Because there's some graphics that you were referencing from there, right?
Yeah.
So give me a second here. But an excellent confidential brief as always, man. Which one were you looking at first?
They're all good, mate. We're all good.
Okay, well, we were talking quite a bit about Avalanche. So I'm gonna go to that one. Are you familiar with this bad boy here?
Yeah, that's the one. And by the way, when even Guy Masika comes out and says, "I love seeing all this," that means Unity is on the right track in what he's saying here, because Guy would have no hesitation to point out if there were any glaring and obvious errors in what Unity had put out. So Guy takes this very seriously, and he's an excellent guy at what he's doing. So
yeah, you don't see him comment on too many things, but I was happy to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's basically so this is basically the workflow, and you can probably explain it better, Tracer, than I can.
Hell no, man. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why I miss having Unity on streams, because he would just take the reins here, and put it in such a simple way that everybody can understand. But of course, we are speculating here with the AVAX thing. But this is a great example of what things could look like.
Yeah, and so basically, you set up your privacy on demand interface on Avalanche, and that's sort of step 1, 2, 3, and then you got this privacy on demand inbox where you use that to route all your confidential requests, and then it gets garbled and computed at COTI. The result comes and gets called back to Avalanche and the DApp. Yeah. So it's a fairly simple workflow, and the sort of time, all these steps. It's interesting because there are about 8 steps, and I think these transactions can be done in as little as 8 seconds. I saw somewhere somebody had gone through the trouble of finding out how quickly this actually works. May have been Unity as well.
Yeah, I saw that too, but I'm forgetting who it was.
Yeah, and of course the user, the user experience is slightly different because the user doesn't see all of this stuff in the background, but that's essentially what happens. Yeah, but yeah, for me the interesting part is that so let's just assume that we're going to go ahead with all of this, and there's no nasty surprises. We're then going to have privacy on demand on Avalanche. Are we going to have clients, if you like, right from the word go, or are they just going to come in a steady stream, or is it going to bomb, or what the hell is going to happen? This is super exciting because this is really the moment of truth for garbage circuits. Really is.
It's amazing what you can do with AI now. Hey, I'm not talking about the graphics. I'm talking about the investigative reporting here within the GitHub.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
And this is literally, you just ask the right questions and you get this sort of answers. Yeah, it's yeah. I'm still not. I'm trying to get used to it, but I'm still not entirely used to this being so easy nowadays. Yeah, it's scary.
Well, AI is actually a superpower when you have even limited technical proficiency, right? If you know your subject, the way you can, it's like having a staff at your beck and call. It's incredible, man.
If you know,
I've been loving.
If you know the right questions to ask, it becomes a superpower for you. Yeah. So, can you bring that graphic back up, because it's quite interesting, because it shows, and this is, I think this is like 8-10 days, maybe 2 weeks old.
Yeah, August 18th.
Yeah, so that's a couple of weeks old. Yeah, and this basically says it's just auditing. But he calls it security hardening. I call it auditing. Would you agree that they're more or less the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you have experience in building stuff. So basically, you go in and audit and find out all the little, you find all the bugs, or as many of the bugs as you can find.
Yeah, like I would call this this is internal auditing, right?
Right.
Here is how I would, look at that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily third party, but it's very clear that this is very close.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not a million miles away from this. And of course, there's an Avalanche summit. As I mentioned in the brief, there's an Avalanche summit around the 20th of September, I think it is. And we're going to demo privacy on demand. So it definitely has to be ready for that, obviously. So
what do you think anything else juicy is going to happen there?
I do, but I don't know what.
Beyond the demo?
Honestly, I have no idea. Yeah, and that's kind of the nice part. Yeah, I know you and I, between us, we sometimes complain that we think we should get a little bit more information about these things, being ambassadors and all, but we don't know, and the community doesn't know, and that's kind of cool, because we know what's coming, we just don't know what shape it's going to take. Yeah, and as I said previously, it is privacy on demand. It's not being shoved down everyone's throat. So we could launch privacy on demand, and everyone could go bananas, and everyone wants it, or no one wants it, or somewhere in the middle between those two extremes. We just don't know. So, but we know the tech works. We know it's fast, and we know it's good. So for sure, people are going to use it. But of course, it'll be interesting to see how many.
Well, it's kind of just like the last summit that Amateo attended, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say I expect, but obviously I'm hoping for a similar delivery like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, his last delivery was amazing, actually. He did very well.
And it was an announcement, right? It closed the whole seminar. So
yeah.
Hopefully there's something really juicy there, because like Avalanche is huge, man. Like in terms of, having that existing adoption, this would be so exciting for them to get on this and have, a real commitment from them out in the open. We need it.
You're making a good point here, and you're absolutely right. Yeah. All the heavy hitters from the world of finance is going to be there, because they're already Avalanche customers. This is not them going to learn more about what's all this blockchain stuff and can we use it and not use it. They're already using it. They're already routing billions a year through Avalanche. So they're existing customers. And of course, we need to get them exposed to what it is that which part of the part of the infrastructure that we're delivering. Yeah. So, we have to get used to thinking about this as COTI is now an infrastructure provider. Yeah. So, and this is obviously a key part of the infrastructure, but it's still a piece of infrastructure. They're going to have other pieces of privacy infrastructure. And of course, our bet is that ours is going to be smarter, faster, lighter, more programmable, etc. All the good stuff that we've been yelling about for the last couple of years. Yeah. So, but these are existing clients that are in the room, and so of course it's an amazing show window for us to put up our stall and say, listen, this is now available on Avalanche. Have at it, if you like.
I do, like, the nice thing about it too is not just faster, lighter, but it's first mover, right? Usually those things don't really go hand in hand, and we'll have to see how it stands the test of time. But we seem poised, and Avalanche makes it real. A lot of people came to COTI from Cardano, right? This seems, and you can come at me if you want to, but this seems a little bit different than partnering with Cardano or, having a PPN big network, on the horizon. This feels so much more meaningful than those things. And I don't know how you feel about that, but like there's not many other chains beyond Ethereum that I would be more excited about. Right.
No, and as I said, this is not an individual client. Yeah. This is the whole chain, and we are delivering a piece of infrastructure, and that's what makes it so exciting, because this for me is to be honest, that this is the moment of truth for garbage circuits.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. This is when we know that on paper and in theory, and we even know from the Statwick pilots and things like that, we know that it can chew through all of this. It's not an issue. The network can handle. The programmability is there. Everything that we say about garbage circuits is true. Yeah, but this is going to be the first time when it's going to be put out in the wild to people who are extremely demanding and people who require a very, very high level of programmability, because now we're talking billions and trillions being moved on chain. So, and it's I'm sure it's gonna throw up a whole bunch of separate surprises along the way, and obviously a lot of complexity to this, but this is the moment of truth for me, to be honest, and it's gonna be very interesting to see. Sink or swim movement. Yeah, I'm sure we will swim. But it's still a little bit of butterflies for me. Yeah, and I can only imagine what the good people at COTI headquarters are feeling about this. So yeah.
I wonder what kind of, we were talking about internal auditing and security hardening there with the last infographic or second last infographic, but you got to wonder what, is there third-party auditing happening already that we don't know about, and how much of that would be happening, like on both sides, before this thing actually went live. So maybe there's things we don't know. Maybe the time frame is still, a little bit long, but waiting for that official announcement from both sides, and that's all it's going to take for me to be extremely bullish again.
I'm assuming that the official announcement's going to be before the Avalanche Summit, but you make a good point. If the audits are not completed by then, or if the audits throw up things that were not expected and needs to be fixed, could be that the announcement will come. We'll do the demo and tease the announcement at the Avalanche Summit, and the official announcement will only come after. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no idea. I mean, and this is typical in these sorts of situations. it's a very floaty kind of scenario, very liquid scenario where a lot of different things are going on at different places all at the same time, and everything's got to click before they press go on it quite clearly. So,
and I mean, everything else is on pause, really.
Yeah,
everything else that we've been talking about for the past year,
no,
other than Nightfall, right? Other than Nightfall and stuff like that. But I mean, everything, like, it really looks like every single resource is going to privacy on demand. And I think a lot of it, maybe Ethereum too in the background, but I think a lot of it is coming to AVAX. We don't know that, but it sure feels like that.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you mentioned the PPN before, yeah? So the PPN was basically, we do this with a client and then we copy paste it 1,000 times over and we have 1,000 clients.
Yeah, COTI Pay Business.
Yeah. Avalanche, we do it once.
Yeah.
And we have 1,000 clients. I don't know about 1,000, but you get my point. Avalanche is basically, we don't go out and sell privacy to each and every company out there. We don't have an army of salespeople knocking on doors all the way up and down the east coast of the United States. We put the infrastructure on Avalanche. They already have 1,000 clients and say, right, there it is. You want to use it? Use it. Be our guest. It's faster, lighter, better, but your choice. Yeah. So this is a much smarter way of doing it. And as much as we all agree that all these recent statements and initiatives or initiatives getting killed, rather, as much as this has been very painful for the community, I think there's a general understanding that if this comes off in the way we would want it to come off, the sacrifices that we've made over the last, not just 1 month, but over the last few years are going to be more than worth it. Yeah, and I'm not talking about token price, anything like that. That'll eventually do its own thing. But we all want to see this out in the wild and performing exactly the way we think it can perform. Yeah, and this is really where we can do it. Yeah, because it's not one client; it's literally a whole bunch of clients all at the same time that'll all, like this, on privacy on demand with guarded circuits. So, super cool and super exciting, and absolutely no doubt that if you're COTI, headquarter, you will do everything in your power. Yeah, you will remove everything else and just focus on that, because that is your sink or swim moment.
Yeah, no, you're right what you say. Like, it has been a long, long ride for people like us, and there's a lot of us, right? And it blows. I was talking to Stefanos the other day, and it kind of blew my mind. I was saying to him that it's pretty incredible that, like, just think, like something like this AVAX announcement, right? Let's say the price stays relatively in the range that we've been for a while. Let's say somebody sees that, like, look at how many people Cardano brought to COTI, right? AVAX, I mean, a lot of people I don't really know of there's a culture of hate against AVAX like there is globally in crypto against Cardano, especially like even back then, but especially now. So thinking about that kind of thing and expecting, hopefully the same kind of thing where, it was when I started podcasting, it was, man, it's like 9 out of 10 people found COTI because of a certain Cardano announcement, right? So let's say something like that happens again, right? And you look at this token price range that we're in right now. So somebody could come into the ecosystem, and when you're gambling in crypto, like, you want to invest in something, like you can throw $10,000 at it pretty easily, right? Okay, some people, right, especially people who have been in crypto for a long time, and are just looking to diversify. So you can walk into a 1 million token COTI bag for 10 grand. Like, that's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? A big announcement, like something like this. Like, and a lot of people are like, yeah, that'll never happen. This is how it's been for so many years. And they've been looking at those kinds of things. And it's like, it never happens. But look what happened with Cardano. And how is this any different? Well, it's better. You know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy that people can come new to COTI in these prices. And like, that blows my mind.
Yeah. And
that's, yeah.
And you know what's more mind-blowing? Yeah. You just mentioned it. People saying, no, you shouldn't invest in COTI because of the PPN, because of this, and they point to all these past events. Yeah. Now, in which universe does an investor look at the past and not the future when he wants to invest in something? Yeah. This I will never ever in my life I never comment on it because it's a discussion I don't have time for. Yeah, because it's going to take forever. Yeah, but it is so weird to me, and I'll never understand why people are so hung up on the past. Yeah. If you're an investor and you're thinking about, should I buy Apple or should I buy SpaceX or should I buy Amazon? Do you go and look at all Apple's failures in the past? Do you go and look at all Elon's blown up rockets? No, you don't. You invest in SpaceX because you think he's gonna own the internet, or he's gonna own the satellite constellations around the planet and having people on the moon and all that crazy good stuff. And you invest in Apple because you know that they have a toll booth ecosystem, that even if Apple never sold another iPhone, that ecosystem is going to exact tolls from its users every day, every week, every month for the next 100 years. So you're buying these things based on future outlook. Yeah, you don't buy that. You don't say, they were shit in the past, I'm not going to buy them. You look at the future, but yet in the small group of people in our community seems very hung up on the past. Yeah, so that's one point. The second point is, without these past failures, without the PPN having failed, we would never have discovered garbled circuits, because garbled circuits was the missing piece in the PPN. Yeah, apart from the fact that the resource that it would actually have you would have needed to actually make PPN a copy-paste success to 100 or 500 companies, it's just not there. Yeah, but the PPN actually was what made COTI or Shahaf discover garbled circuits. Yeah, so think about that.
Yeah. I even use the P word as pivot, but I mean, really, it's more of a metamorphosis or an evolution, right? What was the missing piece of payments? Well, privacy. How did they find that out? From having conversations constantly with enterprises who couldn't have everything on chain.
Yeah. Right.
So it wasn't just, it's not like we were selling apples and then, we started selling cars. It's not the same thing. Yeah. That is a really good point. It's something that we used to talk about a lot, but that's how we got here. And yeah, who knows, like, what was your list? You said other than AVAX, you listed a couple other chains. What were those?
Yeah. So I think it's, and we use the good old cliche that we're still so very early in all of this. Yeah. So obviously Ethereum is the leader. Then you got Solana and AVAX sort of jostling for number two. I think in terms of pure institutional uptake right now, if you measured it today, I think Avalanche is quite a bit further ahead than Solana. Solana is still very much a retail chain, but when you look at where BlackRock and some of the others have spread their sort of seed investments in, because they basically put it. They've taken a couple of billion or 5 or 10 billion and said, okay, we're going to spread it on a number of chains, and we're going to see, we're going to feel our way through this and see what works and what doesn't work. Yeah. So it's Ethereum, Solana, it's Avalanche, Ripple, and I think Arbitrum as well, maybe Sui. But so there are like 5 or 6 sort of the preferred list, as I call it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And of course, you got, and this was I'm going to do some more investigation into this, because Avalanche then, because like banks, for instance, we already see now banks are trying to set up their own, okay, this is our network. This is just for banks. No one else can get in or out. Yeah. Which is all very interesting. But of course, the problem comes when you start with 20 founding members, and they all have certain rights within that walled garden, and then you add another 240 new members along the way who don't get the same benefits and this and that. So these walled gardens, they're gonna pop up, but they won't be successful, in my opinion, in the long run, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work for all the people who join later in the party. But Avalanche then has this, that they have basically bespoke L1s on the Avalanche network, and I don't understand it enough to talk about it a whole lot, so I need to do a little bit more checking what that's all about, but that's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's funny, with everything kind of focusing on privacy on demand, it's giving us limited things to talk about, especially since this Avalanche thing isn't announced yet, or it's all speculation. But it would be interesting to find somebody like the Avalanche equivalent of Soren and have them on our show, right? And then ask them what's going on, right? So if you guys know somebody like that, let's find them. Let's get them on here.
No, absolutely, and once they do make it official, I think we should make a big effort to do that. It'd be so interesting to hear their side of the equation. And actually, I do have someone in mind, but I'm not going to say it on air because. But it's a good old friend of COTI, and you met him in Bangkok.
I may or may not have a meeting with that person in a couple days.
Yeah, so you know who I'm talking about here, yeah. And I think he's the one. He's the one we should get, because he can talk about these things in a way that literally everyone understands. Yeah, I love to listen to that guy. So yeah, he's the one we should bring on board, actually, because he's very intimately involved in all of this, very closely associated with everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, it's funny when you just, really quickly, when you talk about speculation, like some of the things you guys can read out there in the other unofficial groups are so wrong, and they're presented as fact. And, it's, other than this general, kind of mention, it's not worth mentioning. You know what I mean? So there's things that are said even about you and I that are presented as fact in there that are just completely not true. So and that's all I'm going to say against that. Play poker against. Yeah. I don't know how to play poker, man. Honestly, like I never learned this, and I feel like isn't that strange? I've never learned to play poker. The closest I ever got was blackjack.
I once played poker against a bunch of underworld guys in Bucharest, in Romania, but that's another story for another day, because I took them for a lot of money that day and I had to run. That's a different story, though.
I'm not hustling, man. I really don't. I really don't know how to play poker. But yeah, I would like to learn.
I hustled these bandits, but when you're in a foreign city, maybe not the smartest thing to do. Anyways, yeah, so I think we should bring him on, and I'm sure he'd love to join us, because we want to hear a little bit more about the Avalanche perspective on this. Yeah, it's easy to understand why he's crazy about it, because he's been very involved in building the whole thing when he was with COTI. So from that point, it's very easy to understand why he would want this on Avalanche. So
when who was with COTI?
The
Who
guy
are we talking about?
The guy that we can't say his name.
Bro, I sent an email to. Okay. Yeah. Anyways.
Just take your TG. Just take your TG. I've just sent you his name.
Yeah, well, I know who you mean, but like. Oh, okay. You're actually okay. You had me. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking about somebody else. I did not have a meeting with him. Yeah. Wow.
You understand,
bro,
you understand
I was thinking,
why we need to bring him.
I was thinking about that a couple weeks ago. That is actually, yes. Okay. That's a target. I'll take that target.
Yeah, and he'll do it.
We had good chats. We had really good chats in Bangkok. Yeah.
You know, he likes you and me.
You think so?
Ish.
I don't know, man.
Ish.
Oh man, I totally, yeah. I was not thinking what you were thinking there. That's crazy.
Yeah. And if not, then he's a damn good pretender. But no, yeah. Definitely. And I remember us having a lot of conversations with him about nodes and things like that. And when somebody can explain things that even in a way that even I can understand them, that means that they're very good at putting it in layman's terms. Because I'm much more of a layman than I'm a simpleton when it comes to these things. So.
Yeah, I have a couple of people on that list actually, and it's funny, I just wasn't thinking about it, but he is on the list. I gotta get somebody else first. That I gotta go. It's not the right time. Because we're on a different page right now, but yeah, we got to start getting more of those big guests on here. And I tell you what, if this privacy on demand thing with AVAX goes, I think it's going to be a lot easier after that. It just makes everything easier, you know. Yeah. Like this is the big one. This is the big one. We gotta nail it, scale it. Yeah.
Sink or swim, not sink or float. Sink or swim. Yeah. And listen, it is a sink or swim moment, but I am absolutely sure we will not sink. Yeah. How quickly is it going to get uptake in Avalanche? I have no idea. I don't think anyone knows. Are we going to open it with a couple of clients that are already in the Avalanche network right from the word go? I have no idea. Yeah. But that's the exciting part of it. But the main challenge is to get it deployed and get it done in a way that everything works in the way that it was intended to work. So once that happens, the quality of the tech should take care of the rest, in my humble opinion. Not everyone on Avalanche needs this. I mean, I went and did a little bit of an IA assisted research on some of these things in the brief, and actually only the 30% of the daily transaction on Avalanche that requires confidential compute is not something I picked out of thin air. That's something the AI picked out for me. So I don't know where it got that from, but quite an interesting fact that not just because it's heavily skewed towards the institutional doesn't mean that everything has to be confidentially computed. Yeah. So about 30% of daily transactions, and they range from about 2.5 million on a quiet day to 6.5 million at peak so far. Yeah, those are the stats up until now.
The signals are definitely there. You know, this could just be, well, it could be less than an MOU, but it just could be an MOU saying like both sides are investigating if this is a good fit, right? Like we don't know, but man, it sure feels like more than that. It has to be.
It has to be. No, listen, we'll see. This is the exciting part. I don't have any issues with any of that, and I understand that we are not in the driving seat here as COTI in terms of when these things get announced. Yeah, and people have to wrap their head around this. We are, in inverted commas, we are just an infrastructure provider. I don't want to belittle that in any way, because the infrastructure we provide is absolutely critical. But at the end of the day, it's a piece of infrastructure that goes on a network, and there's going to be hundreds of different pieces of infrastructure that's going to be put in over time. And of course, some are more important than others, but that's what it is. Yeah.
So I guess without beating it to death, I mean, we got to save something for the next show, right? Because I'm sure we're going to be talking about this a little bit. Maybe we'll have some more breadcrumbs. But before we go, is there anything else that you wanted to close with? Yeah,
just that when Amateo did the presentation at EY, we challenged him to get a selfie with Tom Lee. And we're now officially putting this out. We're putting this live on air, that the challenge for the Avalanche Summit is to get a selfie with Kevin O'Leary.
All right.
Yeah, we're up in the selfie game here, because Kevin O'Leary is going to be a lot harder than Tom Lee. Yeah, so Amateo is going to have to, he's going to really have to charm his way into that one. So take that, Amateo.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys all for being here on the original Confidential podcast. We've been doing this. This is our 3rd season, and there's been some bumps, and we got a lot of news in the past month to absorb. But there are things on the horizon that I am extremely excited for. And let's hope they're real. And this is us from coast to coast and around the world. Thank you for being here. Take care of one another. And we'll see you next time.
Stay COTI.
Stay COTI.
Cold so slick, circus stay garbled. Encrypted hustle, no chains, no marbles. Faster than the rest, cost stays humble. Breaking through the game, watch others crumb. Nobody do it like this. Circuits in the mist. Faster, cheaper, sharper, crypto alchemist. Others stuck in the lane, we flipping the twist. Gobble circus, baby, we the future, don't miss. Others move slow, we quantum speed. Blocks they can't touch, fulfilling the need. Chains bound tight, but we unshackled. While they debug, our code is tackled. What they can't do, we already done. Their game outdated, we just begun. Algorithms flex, they can't compete. Circus